Assalamu alaikum. A very good evening to everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. I start in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and peace be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is Tirmizi Ashrafi from Association of Muslim Professionals, and I welcome you all in this wonderful session of employability training program on interview skills and techniques. I will now do a small presentation about AMP India Foundation. AMP India Foundation is a not-for-profit organization registered under Section 8 of Companies Act 2013, Government of India, for providing voluntary social services to meet the needs of underprivileged individuals, that is, upliftment of the underserved and needy through education and vocational training, employment support, medical relief, economic empowerment, student mentorship and guidance. Employment Assistance Cell. We all are witnessing AIF's success as one of the most admirable national level NGOs striving for three E's: education, employment, and empowerment. Keeping in mind AIF's core objective of supporting the underprivileged, promoting education, and creating economic empowerment, AIF had launched a special project with the name of AIF Employment Assistance Cell during its initial stages of formation. To date, it is one of the core projects of AIF. Our major activities include job fairs, job drives, employability training program in colleges, skill training company tie-ups, candidate mobilization, skill development courses, job fairs. Job fair is one of the flagship projects of AIF, and we have successfully organized 43 job fairs till date. Every job fair has a participation of minimum 50 companies and 2,000 plus candidates. AIF has organized job fairs in the past in collaboration with Thane Police, Aurangabad Police, West Bengal Minority Finance Development Corporation, Andhra Pradesh State Minority Finance Corporation, and other reputed NGOs. These government organizations and NGOs collaborate with AIF as local partners and take care of local ground promotions in the job fair arrangements. AIF invites corporates like TCS, Asian Paints, Reliance Group, Cafe Coffee Day, McDonald's, Team Lease, Tech Mahindra, and other reputed corporates in the job fairs. Job drives. Job drives are similar to job fairs but are organized on a much smaller scale compared to job fairs. In a job drive, we typically invite only 2 to 3 corporates. Employability training programs. AIF's employability training program, or ETP, has been developed to assist job seekers find the right job and at the right time, and to become the right fit in a present-day modern organization. Our ETP trainers are seasoned professionals who have in-depth understanding of employability training and committed to investing their valuable time, resources, and knowledge in grooming the candidates. Skill training company tie-ups and candidate mobilization. AIF has partnered with reputed skill training companies like Tata Trust, Whirlpool, Tech Mahindra Foundation, etc. We have also arranged skill training melas in Mumbai by inviting around 20 skill training companies to hire and train unskilled candidates who could not pursue their higher studies after 10th and 12th standards. Candidate mobilization. AIF has mobilized candidates for various skill development courses like AC technician, mobile repairing technician, and solar engineering under Skill India mission in centers all across India. Our achievements include 43 plus job fairs, 9 online job drives, 275 plus job drives, 6 online job drives, 220 plus employability training programs, 21 online ETPs, 100 plus mock interviews in colleges, 25,000 plus candidates placed in jobs. We organized 6 career fests, benefited 1,50,000 plus students. Our new initiative, EmpowerJobs.com. EmpowerJobs.com was launched on 6th December 2020. It's a unique job portal with comprehensive offerings introduced by AMP India Foundation for job seekers, especially those hit by COVID pandemic. So thank you very much. I would now introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Syed Khalil Ahmed. So Mr. Syed Khalil Ahmed is an electrical engineering graduate and has over 30 years of experience in academia. At MP, he is the head of Professors Connect. So I would now welcome our expert speaker, Mr. Syed Khalil Ahmed, to please carry on the session. From here, over to you, sir.
Jazakallah khair, Tirmizi bhai. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everybody. My name is Syed Khalil Ahmed. You can call me Khalil. Okay, today I'll be talking to you about interviewing skills. Let me first share the slides. Welcome to the AMP Interview Skills and Techniques workshop. This is part of our employability training workshop series. Can you all hear me clearly now? I just want to make sure we are all able to hear.
Yes, sir, we can hear you properly.
Okay.
You can continue, sir.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. So the first question that arises when we talk about employability training program is to understand what each of those words mean. Program is obvious. Training is obvious. The question is, what is employability? What is the word employability refer to? Basically, employability is the ability to be employed, right? Like a professor, I have put things around, use the same thing to describe it. But what is it? What does it mean in practical sense? It is when you want to hire somebody, or when a corporate or any institution wants to hire somebody, they are looking for a set of skills. They want someone to do a job. It's exactly the same as what you do when you hire somebody. For example, if you hire a driver, if he is an expert in talking, doesn't matter. What you want is for him to be good at driving. So the idea of employability is you should be able to give something to the company that is going to hire you. That is the first step. And that steps to become employable, first thing you have to do is understand yourself. What are you? How do you, what makes you happy? What is your joy? And this is what you're going to be doing. Most of you, I was told, are in the final year of your degrees, which means you're approximately 20 years old. And retirement age today is around 60 years. By the time you retire, it will be probably 65 years. So it's 45 years of doing something. Obviously, many of you will change paths, but when you want to start, you want to think about it. The next 45 years, this is what I'm going to do. So whatever you do should make you happy. When you wake up in the morning, you should want to jump out of bed and go do things. You should be excited about the coming set of things that you're going to do. And it should not be that, yaar utna padega, ye karna hai, usse milna hai, usko jawab dena hai. And that is not a really good way to start your day, and therefore that shouldn't be your career. So the first step to everything is understanding yourself, knowing what you are good at, what makes you happy, and what you would want to do for the next 40, 45 years. Okay. And once you know yourself, you can put that down for others to know about it. So the first thing that you always need to do is to write your resume. Your resume is basically a brief portfolio of what you have done, your education, your skills, your experience, okay? And what you have excelled at, what you really can show. When you're in college, there is not much in the experience section that you can add. Everybody knows that. So people are not going to pay that much attention to experience as a requirement, but it will be part of your excellence. It will be part of something which makes you great. Okay. So it starts with the resume, and then we will talk about how you prepare for the interview itself, because that's the main talk. And at any time, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hands, and Tirmizi Bhai will let me know. Okay, and I can try to answer your questions. Okay, all right. And Tirmizi Bhai has already said that in the chat. You can add your questions in the Q&A. If it is something that Tirmizi Bhai can answer, he will type it in. Otherwise, I'll answer orally. Okay. Essentially, what you want to do is, whenever you do something, there are 3 levels to it. The first level is where you don't do it well. You just do it because somebody is forcing you to do it. You know, we have all done that with our homeworks and assignments, or sometimes when our teachers or parents give us a task to do. Because we have no other choice, we are doing it. The second level is where you are doing it to meet a basic requirement. And sometimes you have a subject or a course which you don't really enjoy doing, but you have to pass to get through, to get your degree. So you do enough to pass. And then there is the third level. The third level is of excellence, of greatness, where you want to do something to really the best of your ability. You want to excel, you want to be among the best. Okay, so this applies to everything. So when you send out your resume to an employer, which is basically sending out a request for a job, and the job part starts with an interview, you're going to be called for the interview only if your resume says something good about you. Okay, if it doesn't, if it is something that you have done at a minimal level, or if you have done such that it doesn't even meet the basic requirements, it's going to be thrown into the dustbin. Okay, so ensure that your cover letters, your letters have a proper format. Please make sure that the grammar is right, spelling is correct. Nowadays you have tools, right? Spelling, if you type in any word processor, whether it is Microsoft Word or any other word processor, there's a spell checker. Use it. There is also a grammar checker. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. So use the grammar checker and have a nice format. Don't choose, you want to put too many things, and because of that, somebody told you that your resume should be only 1 page. You make the font size 8, size 9. You have to remember that people who are reading this are not 20-year-old. They are probably 40 and 50 years old. Their eyes are 40 and 50-year-old. And they can get irritated looking at hundreds of resumes at 9 PowerPoint size. So many of them may not even look at it. If there are too many spelling errors, too many grammatical errors, people don't like it. Okay. The second is, which I alluded to earlier, make sure that your resumes answer the question that the employer has in mind. What is that? The employer wants you for a particular job. If he wants you to do coding, you have to be good at coding. Show that you're good at coding. Or if your employer wants you to be, let us say, a clerical staff who looks at proposals that come to you, then you should show that you are able to read proposals, understand the proposals. Okay, so ensure that your resumes are tailored to your expertise, to what you are good at. It is tailored to the job that you are applying for. Okay, and the work experience that you have, the academic qualifications that you have, your academic qualification is whatever degree you have got, should show that you are prepared for that. Okay, we will talk more about these in detail later. And remember, it's not just that the employer is looking at one two applications. He gets hundreds of applications. They have to filter it out. The filtering process starts at several levels. There might be a HR executive, a human resource person, who is first looking at things and trying to filter out the ones that don't meet the standard. So make sure it gets through that. So you have to have some way of conveying to them, have some buzzwords from the industry, but don't throw in buzzwords without understanding. Okay. So that's the first level. So ensure that you have your resumes done well. Don't make it too large. For a recent college graduate, 1 page is what it should be on average. If you have done too many things beyond what your normal classmates have done, probably it will go a little bit longer than that. But don't put in a lot of things. Don't try to use very large font to make it fill up a page or anything like that. Okay, right. So what are the types of interviews? Once, let's say your resume has attracted the interest of the employer, it has reached the level where they're going to call you for interviews, and they are now going to decide whether you belong. In fact, interviews can also be like this one here. It's a screening interview. Okay, a screening interview essentially is where they are looking to see if you meet certain qualifications, and so that you can be taken to the next step. Probably the interviews can be done by, these screening interviews are typically done by human resource people who are looking to see more if you have the aptitude, if you have the right mind frame for the company, whether you meet the company's culture, and then whether you have the basic qualifications. This job requires BA economics, then they are going to look for BA economics. Okay, those are the kind of things they will, screening interview will do. It's a first level filter. Okay. Other types, one-on-one. One-on-one often is one person is going to interview you. This interview can be done in the office of that person. I have had interviews where they take you to the cafeteria, buy you a cup of coffee, and he starts asking questions. There are other places where I have been taken to their boardroom and then asked to write on the board. So every individual has his style. The individual in this case is looking at specifically from his point of view. So one-on-one interviews sometimes, for example, for one of the jobs, when I was finishing my master's, 5 people interviewed me one-on-one, and it started in the morning. So the first guy interviews, hands me over to the second, third, fourth, fifth, and after that you're free to go. Okay, so in that case, each person has his own approach to it. The other one is can be a phone interview. For example, if you get offers, and today in the COVID situation, many people will start with a phone interview. Okay, for example, I was approached for a job in Singapore. They called me on the phone to see if I meet their requirements before they call me over to Singapore actually for in-person interview. So phone interviews requires a different skill because you cannot see each person. Nowadays, phone has become video conferencing, which is much better because you can see the person when you talk. A panel interview is when you are interviewed by a group of people. Okay, the number of interviewers are going to be many, and each of them will throw a question at you. This typically happens in many institutional interviews where they want to hire you as a lecturer or a professor. Then several people will sit there and do it. Sometimes they have what is called as a mock lecture. So you have to give a lecture. Many of the professors and sometimes they call students sit there to listen to you and see if you are clear, if you meet whatever they have in mind. A group interview is where actually the candidates are interviewed in a group. Okay, many people, to see who stands out. Group discussion is one particular type of a group interview. Okay. The other one is a task or technical interview where you are given a specific task, and usually those tasks are technical in nature, and they want to see if you can do it. For example, the interview I talked about one-on-one, one of the interviewers actually did it in his office. So he had a computer, he opened up the computer, he said, okay, write the C code. I want the code to do this. Okay, and please write the C code. Of course, it was a very simple task, but he wanted to see how you approach it. They are not looking for the answers in the interviews to be precise. They are looking at how you approach every question. Okay. For example, in one of the interviews, the Singapore one where I was talking about, one of the guys who interviewed me in person, he basically said it was for a hard disk drive company. He said, okay, I have this hard disk drive and this is the specifications. I want to improve it and make this. How will you approach that problem? You have 60 seconds to answer. Obviously, in 16 seconds, I'm not going to give the solution. He was looking to see how I start and how I go. Okay. So whenever you are called for an interview, please ask for this. What type of interview? So that you can prepare accordingly. The person who calls will be from HR and they will be ready to explain to you. Okay, so if you're going to do the interview, you need to do some preparations, just like for everything. For your exams, you prepare. For applying to colleges, you prepare. For everything, you prepare. The first step is to research the organization. The moment you get the invitation, if it is an email, start this. If it is, of course, on the phone, first thing to do is ask the person who is calling you what type of interview it is going to be. Okay, and get down all the details. First step, what is this organization? Maybe it's corporate values you don't like, then you may not even want to go for the interview. But in most cases, we are okay, right? So what are their corporate values? So that when they ask questions, you will be prepared to answer. You have to align your answers to what is done in the organization. What is the product they make? Are they making aeroplanes, bicycles, hard disk drives, computers? What are they? And know a little bit about the product. If you are, for example, if they sell computers, you don't have to read the entire BE computer science and engineering syllabus and textbooks. If you are a BA history, then you prepare from that point of view. What is your role going to be? How your role is going to affect that? Okay, what are the kind of services they offer? Have they been in the news lately? Nothing impresses people than to know that you know about them. Okay, so if you want to impress them, know about them. The second step is to know who you are meeting. By who you are meeting, I don't mean a specific person. Is this going to be somebody from the sales division? Is this going to be somebody from the, let us say, marketing division? Is this going to be somebody from the design division? Where is this person come from? And what are these? What is this person's background? Is he a person who is from a technical background? And if technical, what type of technical background? Okay, and also understand what type of team it is. You can find this information all the time. You just go and do a Google search, you will get. You can check whether this person is on your favorite social media, Facebook or what, this, that, etc. Okay. The third step is to ask for help. Never be shy to ask for help, because asking for help is a good sign. It means you want to grow. You want to become better. Asking for help, asking questions is not bad. Remember that. Okay. So reach out to your network. What is your network? Your network can be your family. It can be your friends. It can be your classmates, your teachers. It can be even the person who has invited you. Okay. It can be anybody, as long as it can be a neighbor. Sometimes we have neighbors who are retired people, but they have a great deal of knowledge. Ask them. Okay. Look up about everything. Once you have all this information, start planning. The most important, most vital part is the questions that you ask them, because almost all interviews end with the interviewer asking you, do you have any questions? Don't say no. If you say no, it immediately tells them that you are not very serious about the job, because a serious person wants to know what's going to happen. Okay. As we go along, I'll give you hints about specific questions you can ask, but have at least 2 or 3 questions in mind. Okay. You probably should have more so that you can ask if time permits. But usually there's enough time only for 2 to 3 questions. And dress for the occasion. Sometimes guys go in t-shirts. T-shirts is a big no-no. Okay. See what the dress code of that company is. When I went for the interview, one of the guys was in shorts, but that doesn't mean I am allowed to go in shorts, because there was another guy who was wearing a suit. So wear something formal. And I will elaborate on many of these things as we go along. Next, be on time. Nothing irritates a person than if somebody wastes their time. Be on time. Traffic is not an excuse, because traffic always is present in every city. Okay. If it is the rainy season, you know it's going to rain. So give sufficient margin for that. Start early. Make sure you're going to be there at least 15 minutes in advance. Okay. So that you can take in the surroundings, etc. And when you are there, switch off your phone. Believe me, the world will continue to run without you for a few minutes. Okay. Everything will be fine when you switch on the phone after the interview is over. And the moment you meet, always smile. Don't giggle, don't grin, smile. Give a nice smile and a firm handshake. Again, we will talk about more details about these. This is the flow that you should do. Know the organization, understand who you're meeting, seek advice, plan the road ahead, dress formally, professionally, be on time, remove distractions, smile, and a firm handshake. Okay, these are the things that you should have in mind. Dressing for success. This slide is taken a little bit from, I don't know, this sources online, but in India, you can, not all jobs require you to wear a suit. But make sure you do wear a plain white shirt if you can, a plain blue shirt. These are considered formal. And your pants or slacks should be dark colored. Navy blue or black is what is considered to be formal. What is very important is make sure you wear shoes, proper leather type of shoes. Shoes should be polished. They should project confidence. Okay, and don't wear jewelry, not just for women. I know a lot of men who wear jewelry. Just wear a light amount of jewelry is acceptable, but don't overdo it. You're not going to a marriage. Remember that. You're going for an interview. And your hairstyle, my hairstyle right now will not get me a job. Okay, make sure you groom yourself well. You look professional, you look like somebody who is serious and somebody they would like to work with. Okay, this is something I've already told you. Basically, details have been put in, but again, make sure, usually when you go for an interview, most of us are nervous. Remember, nervousness is not bad. Being nervous is a good sign. It makes us work a little better. It gives us that slight little edge. Okay, so being nervous is perfectly fine. Be worried if you're not nervous. That means you don't care. Okay, being nervous is very, very good. Okay, but when you're nervous, sometimes your palms start sweating, right? You don't want to go shake hands with a wet hand. So make sure you have your handkerchief, wipe your hands just before entering the room and shake hands firmly. Of course, now in the COVID situation, all this is gone. Everything is online. So let's not spend too much time here. Okay, what you should not do. These are the important things. If you don't make eye contact when you talk, it gives the feeling that you're trying to hide something. You're not confident in your answers. You're just making up your answers. So make sure you make eye contact when you give answers. But don't stare. Make eye contact. Okay? Have a light smile on your face. Many interviewers say that this guy is too grim and that's not a good thing. So smile a little, have a cheerful face. The other thing is, don't keep fidgeting and scratching your face and doing all these kind of things. Sit still, sit firmly, and give a confident look. And of course, I talked to you about handshakes already. Okay, when you go there, here are some do's and don'ts which you should quickly look at. Don't carry too many bags with you. First thing is you will get confused. If possible, go there with just one folder with all your documents sorted properly according to whatever criteria. For example, this is from my degree, this is from my school, this is this is that, this is my reference letters. You can sort it any way that works for you, but sort it and keep it such that if they want to take a look at it, you can pull it out quickly. Okay, don't. But most important, you can carry a bag with you, but take one bag. Okay, don't carry too many things. The other, like I said, wear professional shoes. When you leave the room, the last thing the interviewers are going to see is your bag. And most people pay attention to the shoes. The shoes shows your professionalism. And when you sit, don't sit directly facing the people. Slight angle, I mean, a 10-degree angle is good enough. And always project confidence. Show that I know, so that they know that you know. And what you shouldn't do, grinning or chuckling, smiling nervously, or pursing your lips too often. All these things give a negative sign. And when you sit, don't fold your hands or don't wave your hands. Just sit still, keep your hands uncrossed, probably in your lap, and use them when you need to pick up things, or use them to, for example, express what you're saying. Okay, I already told you, don't fidget around, don't touch your face or your this, etc. Okay, the most important question, and often always asked. The main reason they ask is so that you can become free to answer them. You don't want to, they don't want to start with something very difficult. Tell me about yourself is a very easy question. But what happened is, over time, people have gotten nervous about it. They think there is something hidden behind it. There's nothing like ease. So when they say, tell me about yourself, be professional. Practice one story that you want to tell them. Okay? And don't make it very long. 2 to 3 minutes is the ideal. Don't go too much beyond that. Not more than 3 minutes for sure. In fact, in major conferences, they have something called the 3-minute thesis, where those who have finished their PhD have to explain their PhD work in 3 minutes. If a PhD can be explained in 3 minutes, I'm sure tell me about yourself can be explained in 3 minutes. Be very concise, be specific. When you want to say something to prove something about yourself, give a story. Okay, this happened, I did this, or give your background. You can start wherever you want to start, because for everybody, it's a different story, and everybody's story has a different moral, has different points which are important. Somebody might have come from a village background where something they say about their village life might be important. And that means you might have to go back to your primary school, whatever you learned through the years. But this is something you should always expect, and you should prepare yourself. Okay, prepare, have some points written down, practice this in front of yourself, and hopefully you will keep getting better. And every story has an opening, and at the end it has a moral of the story, as they say. The moral in this case has to connect to the position that you are applying for. When you end at 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, you should have told something that makes you good for this particular job. Okay. Okay, here's a set of questions that you probably will get asked. I'm not going to go through each and every question, but during the question answers, if you want me to elaborate, I will elaborate about these, each of whichever ones which are important to you. But keep these questions in mind. If you're watching this on your cell phone, you can take a screenshot right now. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to do that. Okay. But these are important questions. These are questions that say a lot about your attitude, your attitude for the job. See, there are two things when it comes to whatever you do. One is the attitude, the other is the aptitude. Aptitude is your ability and skills, how well you are able to do. Attitude is how you approach the job. When you want to do something, are you doing it with alacrity? Are you doing it with a lot of enthusiasm? Do you have passion? Do you have commitment? And those are the attitudes. Nobody wants someone who doesn't do things well. Okay, so these questions you should be prepared for, and these questions, the answers should come from your heart. Not only should they come from your heart, but the interviewer should feel that they come from your heart. Okay, so a bunch of questions, these are very often asked, and these are taken from actual interviews. Okay, here's what the STAR method of answering questions. Essentially what it says is, everything you put on your resume, you should have something to back up. If you say you're good at communication skills, you should have something, either documentary or a story which shows that you have good communication skills. Okay, so for example, if you're talking about communication skills or persuasion skills, then you have to look at four things. First, a situation that was faced. How difficult was it? And give a brief background in 1 to 2 minutes. Even 2 minutes is very long. 1 minute is where you should be. Okay. So what was the situation that you faced? If you are coming out of college, obviously you never had a previous employer. So you're not going to talk about previous employer. You can talk about what happened in your college. You can talk about what happened with your teachers, what happened with your friends, or what happened at home, or what happened anywhere you went out on your sports day. What was the situation? And what was the task that was involved? Okay, situation, task. And then what action did you take? Maybe there was an emergency situation, a difficult situation, a job that was given to you. How did you tackle it? How did you deal with it? And when you dealt with it, what were the results? Again, remember, nobody is looking at your precise answers. They are looking at, first, is your story believable? Does it sound right? Second, does this story tell what they want about you? Okay, and if it does, is this something good? Is this something that will be useful in the organization? So keep this in mind: the situation, task, action, and results. Okay, right. And here's a set of questions I told you earlier. Here's a set of questions you can ask, and the answering tips for all of them. Okay. And the questions the interviewers asked, I've already talked to you about and given you a big list. So so I'll skip that part. But remember, all these are important. So when you ask a question, it should show that you have interest in joining the company. So if I'm going to join a company, the first thing I want to know is how is working at the company, because I'm going to spend the whole day, at least 5 days a week. Will I be able to deal with that? Okay, so when I join that, I want to make sure the culture is good. How does the company deal with people? The second thing I want to know is, will joining the company improve my skills? Will I become a better person? So you want to know anything about the training that they may give. Okay, you want to know about how they evaluate you over the first 3 months, 6 months, annual review, and all those things. What do you look for? And one very important thing is, why is this position vacant? Because it tells you, was somebody removed from this position? Then why was he removed? And all those things. The other issue is, why do you think this job in this company is better than the competitors' jobs? Okay, what are the next steps that I will be able to take? How is my growth in this company? Okay, and when you answer, here's some of the things I have mentioned: keeping eye contact, to smile. Here's another thing which is very important, what we call as filler words. If you pay attention to what I am saying, you will find many times I will say avoid those things, and that will happen only if you practice your answers. Learn to answer questions slowly, clearly, without filler words. Okay, right now when I spoke about this, I was paying attention to what I'm saying, so I did not throw in any filler words. One way of going about is to form a group of your friends, ask each other questions, and the person who answers should be given about 1 to 2 minutes to answer that question. Question can be about anything. Do you think IPL 2021 should have started? Okay, considering the pandemic situation. Fine. It doesn't have to be about your field. Practice that. You will get better. And I have told you about being courteous and professional. And I have also mentioned that everything you say is a story. It's always a story. So learn to tell a story which is interesting to people who listen. One thing which makes it interesting is when you can give examples of personal experiences that you can share. It makes it a lot more fun for people who are listening to you. Okay. Here's the things not to do, not to say during the interview. They may ask you, why did you leave your previous job? Or why didn't you apply to another company? Are you applying to other companies? Are you waiting for other interviews? How did you find out about our job? Be truthful, be honest, be transparent, be open, no problem. But never say bad things about your previous employer. Why? Because the first thing that will go through the employer's mind is, if this fellow badmouths his previous employer, when he leaves our company, he's going to badmouth about me, because that's his habit. Never say that. You can just say things like, our viewpoints did not get along, our approaches were not the same, or any other reason. There can be other reasons. Probably you wanted to shift back to your hometown to take care of your parents. That's good. Okay. Or for whatever reason. Here's the thing. When they say, are you applying to other companies? Be honest. Say that I will apply to other companies because you are not guaranteeing me a job. If you guarantee me a job, I will join you. Never tell anybody you are second best. Nobody likes to hear that. I don't, you don't. Why do you think the employer is going to do that? Okay. And never say, I have a contact inside, and sound like, you have something special, something that is going to force him to give the job. If somebody works inside, you say that. Don't hide it, but don't try to use that as a bragging tool. Okay. And don't try to say that gives you some sort of insider information. Dangerous. And here's your set of definitely don't do's, which will make sure you don't get the job. You don't ask questions at the end of the interview. This guy is not interested in our company. Giving textbook answers. Oh, this guy is somebody who memorizes answers. He doesn't have creativity. He doesn't have initiative. Give answers. In many cases, people give bilingual answers. Okay, I have seen that. They start in English, throw in some, Hindi, Urdu, Tamil, whatever words. And it's better to avoid that. And again, based on the job and based on the company. Some companies don't mind, some companies welcome, because their idea is you should reach the people, not necessarily become an expert in particular language. Okay, but what really turns people off is textbook answers. Everybody has seen Three Idiots, right? What is a machine? You give the answer that who was that guy gave from the textbook, that's not going to work. Of course, it was told in the movie to make it fun, but you want to give an answer which appeals to the person in front. Third is being arrogant. There is a difference between being confident and arrogant. Confident basically says, I can do this job. Arrogant is, मेरे बगैर ये काम नहीं होगा. Nothing will happen without me. There is a fine line. Be confident with the other person, be courteous, say I can do what you want, but don't say only I can do what you want. Okay? This is terrible, turning up late. There is no excuse for turning up late. Absolutely not. Every situation, unless it's a real emergency. Okay, real emergency would be a sudden strike in your town. All buses, all transportation blocked, in which case the interview itself will be cancelled. But otherwise, plan. You should be, like I said, there at least 15 minutes in advance. Don't go too early. Don't go 2 hours in advance. What are you going to do? You will, the office itself may not allow you to come in there. 15 minutes is what you should plan for. 5 minutes more than that, it's good. Finally, don't go unprepared. Don't go unprepared. If you go unprepared, they will know immediately that you are unprepared. You don't know anything about the company, nothing at all. So to prepare yourself, you have to do some research. Research about the company, about the job, about other things that I said earlier. Okay? Right. So here's a checklist for you. This is a final checklist. Everything I have said is here, put in the sequence in which you should be working on it. Start the day smartly. Dress well, be on time, make sure you know where you have to go, know about the company. Start the route, know the exact place. You can put it on Google Maps so that there's no problem. Okay? Make sure you know alternate routes. If you are driving, drive early. And if you are driving, give yourself a little bit more than 15 minutes because you are going to be going there. If you are taking a transportation, depends on the transportation. Buses, please make allowance for buses being delayed, missing buses, etc. Okay. And during the interview, use your common sense. Everywhere use your common sense. Make sure your phone is switched off. Don't put it on silent or vibrate mode. Okay. Take notes during the interview. It shows your seriousness. Look confident and calm. And when they are asking questions, listen to understand the question. One technique I use is when the interviewer has finished asking the question, I paraphrase it and ask them, is this what you're asking for? Okay, before I start answering. Two things happen. One is you make sure you get the question correct. Two, you get that extra seconds to think about the answer. Okay. And body language, we have talked about that as well. Keep eye contact, don't fidget, and sit straight, show confidence. And always end the interview on a good note because everybody, right, remembers the ending more than what happens in the middle. They may remember the beginning, but the ending is something people always remember. Think of your favorite movies. The ending is something you will not forget. The middles, if there are important parts or nice jokes or something, you'll remember. And once you are done, when you go back home, send a thank you note. Nowadays it's email, so just draft an email today. Keep a standard email. Once you are done, you can thank them, add specific parts that you want to add for each of those. If you get the job, they will tell you subsequently, right? If you get the job, good. If you don't get the job, there's one important thing you should do. Ask for feedback. Ask why you are not given the job, what is lacking, and what you can do to get better. How does this help? Naukri to gayi. It helps because one, it improves you get better at interviewing. Two, if they have a job opening, they believe me, they will remember you. ये बंदा सवाल पूछ रहा था अपनी बेहतरी के लिए. So if we take such a guy, he'll keep improving his skills as he moves along. Okay, so make sure you send follow-up notes. Okay, I think this is about some evaluation. Tirmizi Bhai can tell you about this at the end. So thank you for joining us. I have taken more time than I planned, almost 50 minutes, because I want to give a lot more time for questions and answers. Please
Right, sir,
ask
right.
your questions.
Right. So, sir, thank you very much for the session. And now, lastly, we have some questions. From from one of the anonymous attendee. Dear sir, it will much better if explain the English actually.
अच्छा, हिंदी
Okay.
में? अरे
Yes,
यार
yes. They
पहले
want
बोलना था
some.
ना।
No issues, sir. No issues.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, अभी अभी बता दूंगा।
हाँ,
आप एक काम कीजिए, जिनको जो जो पार्ट समझ में नहीं आए,
जी
आप
जी.
सवाल कीजिए, उसका जवाब मैं दे दूंगा, कोई मसला नहीं है।
Sure, sure. Sir,
और
so he was asking for some tips during the interviews to, get the interview
हाँ
done properly. So, do you have any tips so you can share with them?
हाँ, ठीक है,
Yes.
ओके। इंटरव्यू टिप्स, ये सारे तो इंटरव्यू टिप्स हैं। मैंने इंग्लिश में पूरा कह दिया, तो अभी मैं आपको हिंदी उर्दू में बता दूंगा। ये है आपके इंटरव्यू के वक्त पे, इंटरव्यू के जो है ना, बहुत ही अहम और ज़रूरी क्या कहते हैं पॉइंट्स। सबसे पहले जब आप इंटरव्यू जा रहे हैं तो उसकी तैयारी करके जाइए, राइट। बीइंग, अगर तैयारी नहीं की तो इंटरव्यूअर को फौरन पता चल जाता है कि भाई ये बंदे ने तो ऐसे ही पहुंच गया, ठीक है। दूसरी बात यह होती है कि वहां जब इंटरव्यू खत्म हो जाता है तो सारे इंटरव्यूअर्स जो हैं ये कहते हैं कि भाई आपके पास कोई सवाल है, तो सवाल तैयार रखिएगा। ओके, 2-3, कम से कम 2-3 सवाल आपके पास होने चाहिए कि यहाँ आप लोग हमें ट्रेनिंग कैसे करते हो, हमारी तरक्की यहाँ कैसे हो सकती है। लेकिन ये जो सवाल और जवाब जो दे रहे हैं और सवाल आप पूछ रहे हैं, ये जो है कोई किताब से नहीं आनी चाहिए। आप कोई टेक्स्ट बुक के पढ़े हुए जवाब दे देंगे तो भाई ये तो सब पूछते हैं, आपके दिल से आने चाहिए। आपकी चाहत है, आप जो जिस सवाल का जवाब चाहते हैं। कभी कभी हमें लगता है कि ये सवाल तो भाई बहुत सिली है, मैं पूछूंगा तो वो समझेंगे कि भाई ये बेवकूफ है। वैसा कुछ नहीं होता है, कोई भी सिली सवाल नहीं होता है। पूछने का तरीका और पूछने का वक्त होता है। तो आप जो भी सवाल पूछेंगे, ठीक है, वो आपका सवाल होना चाहिए, और जो आप जवाब दे रहे हैं वो भी आपके जवाब होने चाहिए। जैसे मसलन के तौर पे मैंने ये बताया था पहले कि टेल मी समथिंग अबाउट योरसेल्फ, आपके बारे में कुछ सुनाइए। ये सवाल जो है ना बहुत इंटरव्यूज में पूछा जाता है। ये सवाल इसलिए पूछा जाता है कि आपको थोड़ा आपका नर्वसनेस दूर कर दें, कि भाई आप थोड़ा आराम से तसल्ली से बैठ जाएं और आगे इंटरव्यू में ठीक से बात करें। क्योंकि हर बंदा जो इंटरव्यू जाता है वो नर्वस होता है, नर्वस होना चाहिए। ऐसा कोई शख्स नहीं है जो नर्वस नहीं है। अगर आप इंटरव्यू जा रहे हो और बिल्कुल नर्वस नहीं हो तो भाई परेशान हो जाना चाहिए कि भाई मैं क्यों नर्वस नहीं हूं, ये नौकरी मेरे लिए अहम नहीं है क्या। तो वो होता है। तो आप जो है ना वो तैयारी के साथ जाइए। ओके, सवाल जो पूछ रहे हैं दिल से पूछिए, और वहां जाके बहुत घमंड न दिखाइए। उसको ऐसे इंटरव्यू को ऐसे नहीं लगना चाहिए कि ये बंदा तो बहुत घमंडी है। कॉन्फिडेंस एक होता है कि भाई हर काम मुझसे हो सकता है। इतना घमंड नहीं होना चाहिए कि भाई हर काम मुझसे ही होता है, मेरे बगैर नहीं होगा। तो घमंड और कॉन्फिडेंस, एरोगेंस और कॉन्फिडेंस के बीच में बहुत नाजुक डिफरेंस है, वो समझ लें। कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाइए, आप जो चाहते हैं मैं कर सकता हूं, करने का तरीका जानता हूं, नहीं जानता हूं तो सीख सकता हूं, और उसका जो है ना कोई एग्जाम्पल आप दिखाइए। और ये अहम चीज है, जब आप इंटरव्यू जा रहे हैं तो आप लेट मत पहुंचना। लेट पहुंचोगे तो गया इंटरव्यू। ओके, तो आप प्लान करें कि कम से कम 15 मिनट पहले वहां पहुंच जाएं। कभी कभी होता है आप बिल्डिंग पहुंच गए, इंटरव्यू की रूम पकड़ने में 5-10 मिनट लग जाते हैं। ठीक है, अक्सर नहीं होता है, कभी कभी होता है। तो इसलिए आपको कम से कम 15 मिनट पहले जाना चाहिए। आधा घंटा पहले पहुंच गए तो हर्ज नहीं है, उससे ज्यादा जल्दी बहुत जल्दी मत पहुंचिए। ठीक है, तो ये सब जो है ना अहम इंटरव्यू के क्या कहते हैं पॉइंट्स हैं। यहाँ तो हमने पूरा समराइज कर दिया है। और चलिए, और कुछ सवाल है भाई? ये अब
Yes,
जवाब
sir.
फॉलो अप है तो
And
follow-up
only one last question, sir, in the chat box is how answer should be given when asked about salary expectations.
हाँ, यहाँ आपका रिसर्च आपके काम आएगा। ठीक है, हमें क्या लगता है, ज्यादा पूछूंगा तो नौकरी चली जाएगी, कम पूछूंगा तो वो समझेगा कि ये तो कुछ भी सैलरी पे काम करने वाला है, तो भी सैलरी नौकरी चली जाएगी, ज्यादा ही कम पूछेंगे, या नहीं तो वो दे देगा नौकरी लेकिन बहुत कम सैलरी पे। ये हमारे दिमाग में चलता है ना, तो इसीलिए आपको रिसर्च करना चाहिए। आजकल तो बहुत आसान है, बहुत सारे वेबसाइट्स हैं जैसे ग्लासडोर है, वहां जाके देखिए कि ये जो स्टैंडर्ड, ये नौकरी इस क्या कहते हैं, इस फील्ड में इसकी क्या एवरेज सैलरी है। आप लोगों से पूछिएगा, आप जब कॉलेज में हैं, कॉलेज से निकल रहे हैं, तो आपके सीनियर्स तो नौकरी उनको मिल चुकी होगी ना, उनसे पूछिएगा कि भाई ऐसे एक्सपेक्टेशंस के लिए क्या सैलरी हम एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं। आपके प्रोफेसर से पूछिएगा, बहुत सारे प्रोफेसर्स को पता होता है कि भाई ये फील्ड में ये रेंज होता है। उसके बाद उनसे बात करें, लेकिन एक आपको हमेशा एक नंबर देने की जरूरत नहीं है। आप ये कह सकते हैं कि मैं इंडस्ट्री एवरेज एक्सपेक्ट करता हूं, या मैं एवरेज से बेहतर हूं, मैं एवरेज से बेहतर एक्सपेक्ट करता हूं। ओके, लेकिन ये हर नौकरी के लिए, हर मौके के लिए अलग होता है। यहां आपका रिसर्च काम आएगा कि भाई ये फील्ड में कितना पूछना है। आमतौर से जो है ना, जब आप ग्रेजुएट करके कॉलेज से जा रहे हैं तो ये सवाल बहुत ही कम होते हैं। ये आपका स्टैंडर्ड होता है, स्टार्टिंग सैलरी सबकी होती है। जैसे मैं इसमें आईटी फील्ड में जब इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट्स को शुरू में ले रहे हैं, तो कुछ कंपनीज हैं उनकी स्टैंडर्ड्स फीस ये है कि 25,000 सबको दे देंगे, कुछ की ये है कि 15,000 20,000, वो कंपनीज की होती है। स्टार्टिंग सैलरीज मोर और लेस आपकी फिक्स्ड होती है, तो ये सवाल बहुत ही कम पूछा जाता है फॉर आप जैसे ग्रेजुएटिंग स्टूडेंट्स के लिए। ठीक है, फॉलो अप हो तो चैट में टाइप करिएगा।
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for such an informative session, sir.
और कोई जवाब है या?
No, sir. That was the last question.
या कुछ ये है ना?
It has the feedback आया होगा. You must have been given a feedback. Some जलालुद्दीन साहब.
अच्छा, वो हिंदी में है ना, हिंदी में थोड़ा नहीं है तो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता पढ़ता हूँ, अभी पढ़ा जो मेरी तारीफ हो रही है भाई, बहुत शुक्रिया जलालुद्दीन भाई।
And from my side also, sir, the session was very informative, and thank you very much for your precious time that you took out for this session. And inshallah, we look forward for such sessions from your side again. And till then, sir, thank you very much and take care.
You are welcome.